Again, Boo and Flash couldn't be with us because we're in the middle of the CBD of Melbourne. So I've got my new cat, Professor Price. He's a cool cat. Okay, but the other day I actually asked him about the fact that, you know, what was it like when you were 17 and what questions would you have asked Mistress M? And I got this answer. My 17-year-old self would have been asking questions like, why do the most beautiful, amazing girls always ignore me and date drug-fucked morons who treat them like crap? I'm so awkward and alone, I'm going to go and listen to Pearl Jam and cry in the dark. Is that an accurate representation of what it would have been like?
More or less. Sometimes it was Pearl Jam, sometimes it was the soundtrack to The Lion King.
Oh, for me it was always Kate Bush and Man with a Child in His Eyes.
That sounds painful.
It was painful. I was a teenager and I was in pain all the time, except when I was massively in love and writing poetry either because I was massively in love or writing poetry because I was so heartbroken. And God, the poetry was bad.
I wrote songs.
Were they good?
What do you think?
I think they were shit.
They were terrible. I even recorded one or two of them.
But so we were talking about the fact that, yeah, when you're a teenager, the absolute hideousness of having relationships and working it out. And
I didn't have relationships when I was a teenager.
Oh,
it was the fact that I didn't have any that was causing me so much angst.
Well, I was having lots and they were all terrible and they were all dramatic and so important, and he was so totally like the guy, and then he was so totally snogging my friends, and I just found it all so confusing, and I thought that it was never going to get better, and I was never going to be cool, and it was never going to be right, and I was never going to just never have a decent love life, you know, let alone no, the sex was alright from, you know, a certain age on. It got better at that. Anyway, sorry, we were here talking about teenage angst. Sex and relationships do get better. Dan Savage has a great side about it does get better for young gay men who are feeling like shit and being picked on. Well, we thought we'd just do a little bit for you guys out there. It does get better. You can be an awkward teenage male and turn into someone who's got a relatively happy life. Oh shit, what am I pointing at you for?
I don't know.
This man has a beautiful wife and child.
Yes. And if you told me that when I was 17, I would never have believed you.
If you'd told me that when you was 22, I'd have never believed you.
You can get fucked.
I do. But I still
right
don't.
that one, folks.
But yeah, look, I still don't have it worked out on the ship front, as we all know. But at least it's not all so dramatic and turgid anymore.
Yeah. So the thing is, when I was 17, I probably wouldn't have listened if me of today went back and told myself then, said, look, the reason why these girls are going for the morons is because, with some rare exceptions, 17-year-old girls are quite shallow.
Well, they're 17-year-old girls. And no offence to the 17-year-old girls out there, I was one. And what did I want? I wanted the cool guy. I did not want the nerdy guy. Now I want the nerdy guys because they're hot.
But probably the more accurate answer to my own question would be the specific girls I was fawning over probably weren't as perfectly amazing and angelic as my young, unblemished heart was making them out to be.
And probably the cool guys that I was fawning over probably weren't that cool. In fact, they were probably big idiots.
Possibly, yeah, so
Doug, cool guy, I know.
So it may not have even worked out if my dreams had been answered and one of these girls had liked me back. I would have just put them on pedestals and not treated them like a person. And they would have got sick of that in about 5 minutes.
Everyone gets sick of the pedestal thing in about 5 minutes. Exactly. It's not the way to conduct a relationship.
But I didn't know any better, so.
But as we pointed out, our 17-year-old selves wouldn't have listened to us if we were trying to tell us that it gets better. So
I would have said, no, you don't remember what it was like to be me.
So we don't expect you to listen to us either. So the best advice I can keep on giving is love yourself, touch yourself, and be good to each other.
I couldn't agree more.